Good afternoon. I am Dusty McCormick with the City of Austin's Economic Development Department. Welcome to the Economic Development Services for Your Local Business series. Today you are viewing part 2 entitled Growing Your Business. The next segment of our series occurs on May the 21st at 2 p.m. Each session is designed to share information about our department's programs developed for your direct benefit as a small, medium, and large business, nonprofit organization, or creative venture. Please be sure to attend. There are a few housekeeping matters I would like to go over. Everyone will need to be muted prior to the start of the panel. If you have any questions for our panel, type the questions in the chat box. We will answer those once all the presentations are complete. You can leave your camera on or off. Please change your view to speaker view. That way you'll be able to see the speaker much more easily. We are recording these sessions for future training purposes, so if you are bothered by that, please govern yourself accordingly. We will circulate an evaluation form before the end of this event. Please complete it and return it back to us. Your feedback is very, very important to us so that we can improve on our performance. Next slide, Cassie. Before we introduce our speakers, let me tell you a bit about the Economic Development Department. The City of Austin's Economic Development Department supports and recruits business to Austin through our 6 divisions: small business, global business and expansion, redevelopment, music and entertainment, cultural arts, and heritage tourism. Our mission is to promote a competitive, sustainable, and equitable economy for all. Next slide, please. Last year was an unprecedented year for all our local businesses. COVID-19 pandemic forced most business owners, nonprofits, or creators to cancel events, close their doors, or operate with significantly reduced in-person interaction. Our department supported and sustained many businesses, nonprofits, and creators during this time, launching 14 economic recovery programs between April 2020 and January 2021. We provided financial assistance to 5,101 businesses and creatives impacted by COVID-19. Then we facilitated more than 1,000 hours of virtual, no-cost virtual business training, educational events, and coaching. Then we created what is called atxrecovers.com, which is a one-stop location for community to find out the latest on COVID-19 grants and services. These efforts coupled with many Austinites' resolve and determination to succeed, resulted in 32% of businesses and creators reporting growth despite the pandemic. Additionally, 28% reported remaining steady during last year. Our survey also found that 91% of businesses who participated in our program offered by our department reported that our programming strengthened their operation in 2020. Well, what's in mind? Let me introduce you the panel here. First of all, we have Christine McGuire. She is the division manager for EDD's Redevelopment Services. Next slide, please. And we have Chris Schreck, program manager for EDD's Program Business Extension. Next slide, please. Mr. Danny Brewer, Business Information Coordinator, EDD's Small Business Division. And next slide. And then finally, Abdallah Mahmoud, Business Process Specialist, EDD Global Business Expansion. That is the lineup, and I'll hand it over to Christine to start her presentation.
Thank you so much, Dusty. I'm at the top of the batting order. Thank you all very much for your time and attention. The redevelopment division, we're a little odd that we don't give direct business support, but what we do is really support and create really retail locations, commercial locations that we can feature locally owned businesses that really get to the vibe and the character of Austin. And what a main focus of what we do is we take city-owned land that the city no longer needs or wants. For example, the former Seahome electric plant, which was decommissioned, and we take that property and we work with the private sector, put it back into use to create really vibrant mixed use residential and retail commercial districts. So as I mentioned, the old Seahome power plant is a great example. 2nd Street, basically between San Antonio and Colorado, San Antonio, that 2nd Street retail district close to where City Hall is another great example. And also the former redevelopment of redevelopment of the Robert Mueller Airport, where Aldrich Street is. There's like a town center there that the city has partnered with Catellus Development Corporation to really build out what really is like another urban village, if you will, at the Mueller development. All in all, in our 20 years of our division's existence, we've built out 1 million square feet of retail. And most of our development deals that we've done really has goals of at least 30% of the tenants being locally owned businesses. In fact, Aldrich Street right now is at 82% locally owned. And we really love featuring businesses in our retail districts that really do fit the character and the creativity and the wonderful diversity of our Austin community. And in addition to redeveloping and really building showcases for local businesses out in other areas of our city, not just on city-owned land, but just out there organically out in the community of Austin, we help businesses be better together by helping merchants, business owners, really understand who their neighbor is and organize and work with merchants and business owners in a specific geography where there's really a concentration of businesses to become a real organized and strong advocate for themselves. We help create merchant associations through our Solely Austin program. And certain merchant associations like include the Red River Cultural District, those merchants along South Congress, the North Lamar International District. Those are some really great examples where we have helped businesses know their neighbor, recognize common interests, and be better together. Next slide, please. And one of the great ways that businesses can really work better together is in that area where they are located, is really do improvements that help bring patrons into their stores and their district and help people stay longer and shop in more stores. And that really increases their bottom line. One of the ways that we help these merchant districts do that is by funding improvements to sidewalks, putting in street trees, putting in landscaping, helping these areas stay clean and stay safe. And so another really good example, just recently, we helped fund $1.5 million for $1.2 million to be exact for the Red River Cultural District for what will be really important improvements on lighting, sidewalks, and trees and planting to help keep people shopping there and being there longer. And so those are some of the key ways that our division helps support. And actually, we're really supported by all the other divisions that you're going to hear from right now that really help businesses individually be stronger. And for that, I'm going to turn over to the next presenter, Chris Schreck.
Thanks so much, Christine. Thanks, Dusty, and then thanks to all of you for being here. As was mentioned earlier, my name is Chris Schreck. I'm a program manager in our Global Business Expansion division. I run our business retention and expansion program, which in addition to being a really excellent example of government speak, is a program that I think can be really helpful to you. Essentially, the concept behind this is you guys are running the small businesses that create economic opportunity, that drive innovation in Austin, and we want to make sure you stay in Austin. We want to retain you in Austin, and we also want to help you grow. And so really the BRE program is nothing more than an effort to align a lot of the resources that exist in the city of Austin and even beyond the economic development department, but throughout the city to support small business. And so what does that really mean? Typically what happens is folks get in touch with me or I get in touch with them. If we are operating in pre-pandemic times, I pay your office a lovely visit and we talk about what it's like to do business in Austin. We talk about what your challenges are, what your needs are, and ultimately how we can work to sort of identify problems and solutions that might exist for you. So for example, you might tell me that you're having trouble identifying workers that have necessary skill sets. And I might be able to point you towards a workforce development program that does that, or connect you with industry associations that are intended to help connect you with sort of recruitment events or that kind of thing. You might tell me that you are looking to expand or invest in new equipment coming up soon, and I can tell you about some of the different programs that we offer that offer more affordable costs of capital, or are specifically targeted to businesses like you that might make it easier for you to invest at a more accelerated rate or at a cheaper price. I can also provide you with data. So we've got a wealth of information about industry trends in Austin. I can tell you what the prevailing wage is for different folks in Austin, so you can get a sense for what your business might need to offer to be competitive in hiring folks. And I can tell you where some of the fastest growing industries and opportunities are. Happy to do all of that, but most importantly, I think that one of the things that we have to offer is the city of Austin is an incredibly well-networked organization. And so if you are operating in a space and want to know more of the businesses or potential partners or potential suppliers that exist in that space, we're really well positioned to do that. And sometimes the difference of a sort of a warm introduction from a city of Austin partner versus a cold call can be really substantial. And I think one of the most impactful things that we do at the city is simply just facilitating productive private sector connections between two different businesses. And so we've seen a lot of that going forward. I'm happy to play a part in learning more about your business and helping to do that. I think if for no other reason, then that's certainly what we're here to do, but also it helps inform the way that we understand what it's like to do business in Austin too. And so it can inform the way that we think about future events or future resources or future programming too. So your sharing information with us and helping us understand how we can help you also helps us be more effective in the way that we serve the business community more generally. On the next slide, I'll talk about what is essentially the other half of my job, which is I serve as kind of our lead on a lot of the economic development department's international engagements. And so I think this slide sort of anticipates that we would have a slightly more interactive presentation environment. So I won't ask you if you can guess the share of Austinites that are foreign born. I will instead tell you that it's 20%, which is often quite high or surprises people at how high it is. We're in fact a much more sort of global and cosmopolitan city than we have been historically. And I think that's a really exciting time to be in Austin and looking internationally. I think Austin historically has been kind of a smaller city without much of an international presence, and that's definitely changing. So you're seeing more and more Austin companies that are looking to do business abroad, find partners abroad, make investments abroad, but you're also seeing that coming in the other direction too. And so more and more businesses are looking for local partners in Austin who can help them enter the Texas market or help them recruit talent here in Austin and that kind of thing. And so there's a really exciting international opportunity that exists for businesses of all sizes here. And I'm happy to sort of walk through that with different folks in Austin to identify where those opportunities might be. In general, there are, again, perhaps in pre-pandemic times, always sort of delegations and industry trade missions coming through Austin. And oftentimes they're reaching out to the city of Austin for introductions or for connection points to the city. And so we're always happy to help facilitate those international connections for businesses. There are also a host of organizations that exist here locally that have as their mission helping American companies do business abroad. And so where possible, we're happy to connect you to the organizations that exist to promote your products and promote your exporting and promote your trade. And then certainly always happy to talk with folks about what the sort of rules and regulations are once you start doing international trade, and helping to connect you with either mentorship or resources to navigate that. I have here EB5 support as well. EB5 is a program that allows folks to make investments in the US in order to obtain permanent citizenship. And so oftentimes investors from abroad will contact us looking for projects or opportunities, companies they can invest in order to take advantage of this program. And so that's something that we work on as well. I hope that's a sort of clear picture of the work that we do to engage businesses locally, and then the work that we do to help them grow and make either local to local kind of connections that are productive for them, or help them enter and engage with international markets as well. And with that, I will turn it over to Danny Brewer in our small business division.
All right. Good afternoon, Friday afternoon, everybody. Thanks, Chris, and thanks, Dusty. Like Chris said, my name is Danny Brewer. I'm with the City of Austin Small Business Division. I'll be going over a couple slides here. So first is the Austin Community College Fashion Incubator. It was established in 2019, and it prepares aspiring designers and established entrepreneurs for success. So they offer three things. They offer fashion courses and master courses. The courses are typically held during the week, and they cost about $100. The Fashion Incubator is called Designer in Residence. They will start accepting the application in June 2021. It is a 6-month program, and there are typically 8 to 6 businesses that are accepted. If you are one of the lucky few who get accepted to this program, what do you get access to? Well, I'll tell you what you get access to. You get access to $13.1 million of Gerber technology equipment. You get access to Adobe Creative Cloud. You have your own studio there on the campus, a showroom and a meeting space to meet vendors and clients, access to their wholesale network, a guidance on purchasing material, and fashion mentors. Next slide. So business coaching. So what is business coaching? Business coaching in general terms is someone who can provide you an outside perspective for you and your business. Someone who can help us think about our niche, our pricing, supply chain, marketing, bookkeeping, to name a few, and how we can better position ourselves to be successful. A time to reflect, we can take inventory of our past outcomes, or maybe our future options, what's available. Business opportunities, how is the current market and where do we fit in? Introduction to contacts. So when you meet with your business coach, they have a network here in the city. There are a lot of organizations that help small businesses, and we can connect you with a lot of those resources to help you. While you are doing your business plan, you are going to gain skills and knowledge about marketing, management, finance, which can help you successfully run your business. You'll develop new skills and adoption of higher level business techniques and strategy. You'll learn techniques that will help you become more proactive with your decision-making process. And while you're doing it, you're going to get self-confidence. So, they say you'll know just enough to be dangerous. Well, you probably know more than that. So you'll sit down with our business coach, and we're not the only game in town. So you can sit down as many business coaches as you want to. Most of them, all of them I know are free, and you can get a business mentor that will be with you with the life of your business. So all this will enlarge your little circle of trust and help you make more wise decisions. We'll avoid some of the common pitfalls. You sidestep the common mistakes that a lot of entrepreneurs make. Increase focus. So what are your short-term, long-term goals, and how do we reach them? And it's going to be a sounding board. And like I said, when we start our businesses, it's typically a team of 1, maybe a team of 2. And all the ideas that we have either sound good or they sound really bad, depending on your perspective. So the coaches and mentors are going to be there to provide you honest feedback. So if you haven't sat down with a business coach, you can definitely sit down with our business coach. The prerequisite to sit down with our business coach is you have to attend BizAid Business Orientation. That is a bi-monthly class, and you can register at our website. The next class is June the 16th, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And smallbizaustin.org is the website to register. And last slide for me, permitting and zoning. So permitting and zoning always comes up when businesses move into commercial space or they're looking for a commercial space. So we have broken the permitting and zoning into 5 steps. The first step is development assessment, and I'll go over these briefly. Development assessment is you're getting permission from the city to open your business at a location. So before you sign a lease, you want to make sure that you can open your restaurant at this location, and the city will say yes or no, you can or you cannot. Or if you cannot, this is what you need to do so you can. Commercial plan review, you can sit down with the city and they can have their experts go over your plan with you with your development team. Permitting is just permission from the city to start construction. Inspections is the city will come back and look to see if you did what you said you was going to do and it's up to code. And before you open your doors to your business, you need to get a certificate of occupancy. It's called a CO. So how can we help? So we have the development process team. When you start your project, whether it's residential or commercial, and you run into pitfalls or you want to know more about the process or you're in the process and you need to know who to contact, reach out to the development process team and they can definitely assist you with that. We also offer a bi-monthly class. It's called Biz Open, and we go development process within the city of Austin. And that is all I have for my presentation. I will turn it over to Abdullah.
Thank you, Danny. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in today to listen to our presentation. As my colleague specified, my name is Abdullah Mahmoud. I am with the City of Austin's Economic Development Department. Today, I'm here to speak to you about our emerging markets, our international emerging markets programming. Piggybacking on what my colleague Chris just spoke about, international, Austin is a growing international city. So I'm here to talk to you about our specific programmings for these emerging markets. This program is called ATX Plus. It's an entrepreneurial and international business development exchange program. It is a partnership between the City of Austin and the US State Department. The way this works is that every year, the US State Department announces a number of grants. These grants are issued by our United States embassies in those emerging markets. At the City of Austin, we review these grants and we do apply for these grants. And once our application is successful, we use these funds to leverage global resources so we can facilitate sustainable educational and commercial partnerships. So to give you more visual about this, so if you look at these two pictures, the one on the top is basically a picture that was taken in December 2019 in Cairo, Egypt. On the panel on the stage, you will find 2 Austinite businesses, as well as 2 Egyptian businesses who visited Austin, as well as the moderator from Austin. They are speaking about their experiences in that exchange market, the collaboration and the similarities between these 2 markets. Our other program is the picture on the bottom is our program with Pakistan, which was started in 2015. It's our first programming. These are our delegation that also visited in 2019. So far we do have 2 programmings running with the State Department's under grant. It's worth mentioning that we utilize these grant funds from the federal government. We do not use city funds to do these international trips. Next slide, please. So let's talk more about the objectives and the benefits and how we do these programs. The objectives really here is this is an entrepreneurial exchange. So we help these startups from emerging markets to access the US market via Austin, because Austin is one of the best places to be a startup. We also look at our Austinite businesses. What can we provide as a local government in terms of global business expansion? So we do take Austinite startups and small businesses and educational institutions to go abroad for global business expansion opportunities, as well as capacity building. There's a lot of knowledge that we can take to these emerging economies. And by providing knowledge, we also learn from these ecosystems. And obviously, we also always try to increase the global awareness about Austin and talk about how great our ecosystem is, like you saw in the previous slide. To give you more focused details, because these are grant-funded programs, so usually there is a ceiling on that grant and a focus area. So the way we do this is we usually take about 8 to 10 delegates, small businesses, and they do travel to that exchange market for a period of a week to 10 days. During these week to 10 days, we try, before we go on the trip, to curate these networking, trainings, and mentorship opportunities so that when our businesses do finally arrive to that exchange market, they are ready to hit the ground running. They know all the basics. We do give the right connections and mentorships and cultural barriers that we should address before we try to do business in an emerging market. Finally, you may have a great question here. That all sounds great, Abdullah. So how can we be involved and how can we benefit as people listening into this presentation? So as this is a grant-funded program, and it has a focus area. So for example, in that first picture, we attended a fashion event in Egypt. One of the programs that we have in Egypt is focused on fashion. Another model of our programming is more of an industry agnostic, where we take a bunch of different focus industries from the creative economy, food, fashion, tech, circular economy, and see where that traction happens and the similarity, and then we go ahead and apply for a more focused grant in the next year. So while these programs with Pakistan and Egypt will sunset and the grant will end at the end of this year, we're always in the process of looking out at new grants, at new emerging markets that our ecosystem can benefit from having these connections with as they're growing. So whenever there's a new program, we will first issue a press release about these programs that they are available. And we will open up the opportunity for you to interact and apply for this program if it's within your focus area. And that's the URL at the bottom. I know it may be a bit long. We should work on shortening it. But a hack to this, actually, if you do go to austintexas.gov, at the search toolbar, you can just write ATX Plus and hit enter, and that will take you to that URL. And finally, that's my email, abdullah.mahmoud@austintexas.gov. I'll be happy to answer any more questions you have. And hopefully, as obviously COVID-19 has impacted those entrepreneurial exchange programs, because there's travel involved in these programs, why we were able to move most of the capacity building virtually. We're still waiting on a time where travel globally is safe, secure, so we can take that in-person portion of that program, because it is as equally as important as the virtual capacity building part. And with that, I want to thank you again so much for listening to me and my colleague's presentation, and I'll turn it back to you, Dusty. Thank you.
Dusty, you're on mute.
All right, let's try that again. Thank you very much, Christine, Chris, Danny, and Abdallah, for that very informative presentation that each one of you all had. Let me go to the chat box and or let our our co-pilot, Ms. Jackie Mayo, go to the chat box and let us know if there are any questions there.
There was one, excuse me, about business plan writing. And Danny was kind enough to respond in the chat to Sierra. So currently right now, we don't have anything.
Okay, but then moderator's choice. I have 3 questions I'd like to ask that I want each and every one of y'all to try to respond to, please. For question number 1, can you give an example of a company you were successful in helping and provide some brief details of the situation?
Yeah, I can go first, Dusty. Yeah, so
Excellent.
years ago, after I started at the city, there was a business. I was going to say it's a kids jumpy house, and they were looking to start their first jumpy house here in Austin. So they took our business orientation class, their biz aid, and they started with that. Then they sat down with our business coach, helped them develop their business plan. They started taking some of our business classes. Then a couple years later, they came back and I saw this gentleman and his wife, and they've already opened up 3 jumpy houses here in Austin, and they were taking our biz open class. So they wanted assistance with getting their next property. So we have CoStar. CoStar is commercial real estate MLS listing. So we help them find their next property. So from beginning to end, we can definitely assist your business in any way that we can. So if we don't have the resources, we can definitely find them for you.
I think it's a really good question. I think one of the things that comes to mind for me, and to give some kind of sense for the breadth of things that come up in the business retention and expansion conversations that we have. I'm just remembering a conversation I had with a business. We talked about they were growing and they had just moved into a space, and they kind of, they were doing really, really well. And we talked about hiring, and they were more or less able to find the folks that they wanted. And talked about capital, and they'd actually just done like that sort of big raise, and so they were pretty good there. And then I just said, one of the things that's actually really, it's a minor thing, but it's a real pain in the neck every afternoon when I leave is the traffic is bad, and like the specifically the line back like to leave our facility and get out onto the road backs up and backs up and backs up. And I was actually able to point them toward the process by which you engage Austin Transportation to ask for a traffic signal. And it's a simple thing. It's kind of it's sort of a cute, dumb thing, but like on a day-to-day basis, if you're spending an extra 15 minutes just trying to get out of the office, I'm imagining what that would do to my mental health. And so I think it was really satisfying just to be able to sort of say there are all these sort of different city processes that are, I'll say, they are not necessarily obvious to people who are not operating within the city of Austin environment. So it's really helpful to be able to sort of, it's nice to be able to be helpful to folks and help them navigate that and identify, hey, there's a problem here and I don't know exactly how to solve it, but if you could help me, that would be really great. And that's the kind of sort of success story that I feel like we probably don't put on the website necessarily as like this program is intended to get you a stop sign or something like that, but it is kind of the spirit of the program to really take an interest in what can we do to show that we're interested in supporting your business and figure out how we can help you succeed and grow in Austin.
Anyone else?
Sure, I can go. So with ATS Plus, we actually have numerous of stories, and because this is a travel programming, these connections take a while to happen, but once they happen, they are very solid and sustainable. So I'll give some examples. In December 2019, we traveled to Egypt. One of our delegates was a store that's on 2nd Street called League of Rebels. If you know it, it's a men's warehouse brand in Austin. In December 2019, based on the trip in Egypt, the founder of that brand had a deal to open up in Mall of Egypt in Cairo, in New Cairo. Their first strategy was to put their products in that store all the way to lead to their opening their own brick and mortar. Obviously, with COVID, these discussions were a bit pushed back, but we are planning to go back at the end of the year and restart them together. Another example would be on a bigger company, or a bigger organization, which is Austin Community College Fashion Incubator, which Danny touched on, which was created in 2019. They were a delegate with us in December 2019, and based on that trip, the embassy invited us to apply to a whole new grant focused on the fashion ecosystem between Austin and Egypt. And the Austin Community College Fashion Incubator are currently running this program with Egypt. They just finished 16 weeks of virtual programming, ahead of the commercial testing that will happen hopefully by the end of the year, given public health safety procedures are good for travel. And finally, our Pakistan program. We had two people who were participants of the program, and based on the relationship they sparked, they merged together and opened up a tech company that operates both in Pakistan and Austin at the time. So these are just three examples of different sizes, from startups to education institutes to just regular people meeting and creating a company together, based on these instant connections that happen when you really put people together in the same room who have similar interests, similar interests and focuses, and magic can happen really. Because with Austin, our strength is that we're a very highly collaborative ecosystem. So there is no worry everywhere we go, we're very sure that our ecosystem would really make our job easier. So these are just a few stories, Dusty, for you.
And Dusty, the only other thing I can add to all the comments is like this theme about better together, either through mentor coaching or through the one-on-one conversations that can happen with our really incredibly skilled staff, or what Abdullah just mentioned about introducing them to global markets. The whole better together concept even plays out in our commercial districts. The 2nd Street Business District has and features some wonderful local businesses that have actually availed themselves of our programs for such as what Abdullah was just mentioned. League of Rebels is in the same 2nd Street district as Toy Joy, as Yummy Joy, as Eliza Page, and a number of our wonderful ATX Rocks in the same district as Austin City Limits at the W Hotel. And so, better together, this grouping or this clustering in one location in a really vibrant, hip district where people can shop from, store to store on a number of different things, even go see a movie at Violent Crown. Those are it's a kind of ecosystem at a really local level that we like to help create and strengthen. So not just in addition to like the one-on-one helping of growing a business with a business owner, but even the space and the environment that businesses can collaborate and be stronger together with the stronger voice. I think is a service that we do.
Very good answers. Thank you. Question number 2. Are there any important dates in the future that you want our audience to look out for regarding your programs? No dates.
Well, I'll go really quick. For ATX Plus, we don't actually have a fixed date for a new grant, but whenever we do, we will issue a press release that will usually happens in the last quarter of every year. That's when we basically are ready to release that information. So keep an eye out, and whenever there is a new grant, we will issue a press release about that.
Hey, Dusty, I mentioned 2 dates earlier. We have Biz 8 coming up on June the 16th and Biz Open on the 17th. So I'll just highlight those 2 coming up.
16th and 17th of May.
Next month, yes.
Next month. Okay. All right. Okay. Fantastic. All right. Let's check the chat box and see if there are any new questions.
Yes, there is from Kathy. She is asking, can you help me find and acquire homes in neighborhoods, either for lease or for sale, to be used as shared housing for seniors? Housing is needed and it's in high demand in Austin. If we can acquire a home in forbearance or going into foreclosure, that would be advantageous.
Right. So I know we have CoStar. I don't know. With CoStar, we can only do commercial, so we can't look up residential properties. If there's a commercial property, maybe, multi-living facilities that you may be interested in, we can definitely look that up. I'll put my email in the chat, Kathy. We can connect after this.
I'd also say that we work in concert with all of the departments in the city of Austin, including our housing and planning department that has a number of programs that we can partner with private developers to construct affordable housing. So I'll certainly work with anybody and everybody to make the appropriate connections. If you reach out to Danny, I could certainly provide Danny that information, and we can link you with other resources in the city. It's kind of a one-stop shop.
Kathy added she'd like to create a micro ecosystem or micro communities for senior housing to promote quality of life and better health. Nice idea. That's it, Dusty.
And let me share also, she might give a call to an organization called Family Elder Care. They have a number of programs for seniors, and they have senior housing called Lions Gardens. I know it's 52 units of affordable housing for seniors, but I know that I think they're interested in doing some more development. And so that might be an opportunity for some co-mingling and co-development in that area. So may want to try that. And if you need that information or that connection, just let me know and I can get that to you. All righty, our third question. Are there one or two takeaways or nuggets that you want our audience to remember about your program?
I mean, I think I'll just jump in there and say that please feel free to get in touch with me, and also that you don't have to necessarily have a fully formed idea of what you want. That I think if you are a business and you're trying to figure out how do I succeed in Austin, I think we're just as happy to work through those questions with you as we are to answer whatever questions come up. And so I think if there's one thing I could leave you with, it's don't hesitate to be in touch, to take advantage of the department that exists here to serve businesses in Austin, and we'll help you figure out how we can be supportive. You don't have to already know exactly what to ask for.
Anybody else?
Just on that same note that Chris says, you don't have to go it alone. And in fact, you could be stronger with a mentor, with a coach, in getting the resources you need. And if you do have a space in a location, it's so important to know your neighbors and speak with a collective voice, and we can help you with that as well.
Yeah, I'll just echo what everyone just said. I mean, we're here to help you. We're here to build your inner circle network, know the people, join the organizations, Collective Voice, Solely Austin. Get with Chris. He can get you them stats if you're looking for them. And we're here to help you. Economic development, City of Austin. We're here to help you guys be successful. When you guys are successful, we're successful. So please make us work, make us earn our money. Thank you.
Yeah, finally, I would just leave you with this. If you really are looking to expand globally, if you think, you want to go internationally, but you're not sure if this is for you, you're not sure if you know the cultures, what it takes to go, please get in touch with us. This is why we do these programs, to connect you with emerging markets as they grow, so you can diversify your portfolio, your customers, your clients, your partners. So please do get in touch with us if you have any interest of exploring more international, or if you have some feedback and tell us, we think you should look at this area or this continent for programs. So please feel free to get in touch with us. Thank you.
Thank you again to Christine McGuire, Chris Schreck, Danny Brewer, and Abdallah Mahmood for presenting today. I also want to thank my colleagues, Cassie Jackson and Jackie Mayo, for producing this segment and keeping me straight. We appreciate each and every one of you for helping to make this presentation a success. And I thank all of our audience members for joining us today. We suggest, or we appreciate you taking the time to attend today's presentation. Please do not forget to complete the survey, and don't forget the next segment of the series is on May the 21st at 2 p.m. And don't forget to visit smallbizaustin.org. Again, small, SMALLBIZ, Austin, AUSTIN.org for more information. Thank you again for coming today. We look forward to seeing you at the next event, and have a great day, and please stay healthy and don't forget the survey. Thank you so much. And ends today's presentation.